At this time, I would ask that the committee members will look at the minutes, and then afterwards, I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And Ms. Emmy, second.
All in favor, let me know by voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed is by the same sign.
Kip's not here, can I vote?
At this time, we will have new business authorization to retain the firm Kaplan, Kirsch, and Rockwell for professional services regarding the Tuscaloosa National Airport. Mr. Jeff Powell.
Good afternoon, or good evening. Good to be here
Good
today.
afternoon.
We retained Kaplan, Kirsch, and Rockwell last year to update our minimum standards, our standardized lease, our commercial minimum standards, our rules and regulations to be consistent, because some of those things were updated as long as not going back to 1962. So we want to be a consistent effort to update those at the same time. Now that we've got those policies out of public comment period, we're going to be coming back to this committee to approve those policies. And we also want to continue retaining them going forward because they help us with our leases as they apply to those policy documents. As y'all know, we're very regulated by the federal government, so they can take what other airports are doing in other parts of the industries and provide comment as a supplement to our efforts in negotiating our leases. So it's not a retainer, it's just as needed, as requested by staff to help us in any of our lease negotiations. A good portion of our leases are fairly simple, very standardized, but we do have unique scenarios, subleases. One that we're currently working on is an agricultural lease, so they help take a look at that, get to a solution faster, and then get that through council so that we can kind of churn through the potential opportunities out there quicker.
I got a question. So every lease, everything that we do at the airport, you make sure that they kind of double check what we're doing to make sure that we are in line with the progression of airports around the nation.
If requested, I wouldn't say we do it every one of them, because some of them are very simple, like our shade hangers. But if we felt one was complicated and we needed to send out for their review, we could do that through this agreement.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Jeff, if somebody has a lease at the airport, how far out before it expires do we start talking to them? And then talk to me a little bit about that process, because I'm assuming you use these people to help you in that a little bit. I mean, when you're trying to do that, but if I had a hangar out there right now, and when would you start talking with the company?
I would say a minimum 2 years out. You don't want to wait till day zero and then figure out, because you'll then have the holdover or how do you transition, whether they're staying or leaving. So the time to negotiate is probably no less than 24 months. Again, it depends on the size of the operation. Some just want a short-term lease, some want a long-term lease, and that gauges how much time we think we might need to go into that negotiation.
So we are, I mean, one of the things I hope that we see, I mean, you and I've talked about this, is going forward, is how as some of these leases are updated, the city gets more money for what we're doing with this. I mean, we're kind of looking at that right now with,
right.
with every person that's a tenant, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Any other council members?
Questions?
Have any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed is by the same sign. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Also, request by Mr. Dennis Moore to purchase a city foreclosure property located at 4530 Second Place Northeast. Mr. Jim Bowens.
You got the next slide, is the location, is that in there?
No, it's in their packet.
Okay. In your packet, you will see a little printout, to show you where it is. It's, 4530 Second Place Northeast, and he is offering $5,233.96, which is what our cost is. He plans to build a house for lease for sale within the next year.
So are there houses already currently in these?
Yes, it's just an empty lot in the neighborhood. This will fill in.
May I ask,
He's bought one for us before.
was this damaged by this area?
No, this
damaged
is
by
just the one that we demolished. We have a list of an
Okay.
inventory of, we're down to about 16 now. We don't have a whole lot, but and periodically people will call and they'll look and see it's owned by the city and they'll call us and say, hey, can I buy that? So,
Where is this at?
Yeah, what's this near, Jimbo?
other than to tell you that it's the, so I can't zoom out on this.
Arcadia.
It
It's in
is
District
the
5?
East Park subdivision.
That's Holt, right, or
Yeah.
Holtish?
Yeah, that's almost.
I mean,
Holt
that
there.
address sounds like Holt.
But that's District 5.
Normally
right?
normally northeast,
No.
kind of off the rule, although I do know we have some exemptions. That's kind of my rule of thumb, it's not exact, but
Yeah, I know.
gets me close.
I used to know that like the back of my hand.
So if y'all are in agreement, I'll prepare a resolution for y'all for next week.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. The next Council Properties Committee meeting will be held May 2nd, 2023. At this moment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Proudly. Motion.
Second.
All in favor?